Keep it high, keep it tight. It's Jim Mercer Review Guy, back to bring you another exciting video that I am super happy to be making. I am going to be talking about BTS today, and if you guys are maybe getting tired of BTS, like, let me know in the comments below, but this is a band that I like a lot, and I have done videos on them in the past. I have done a review of 2 of their albums, and this is a video that I wanted to make because this video is important, I feel, because as a music channel, or a mostly music channel with gaming mixed in, I prefer to talk about big things in music in general and not just doing individual album reviews. And Love Yourself Tear, which is their newest Korean album that they released, is making history on all corners. And I feel like this is an important time because 10 years from now, this could be commonplace for bands of this type of genre to be doing what they're doing. And I'm excited to see where it goes. So I have 2 different articles, and I'd like to read you just bits and pieces of both and give my thoughts. So Forbes released an article about the 10 milestones BTS's Love Yourself Tear reached in its first week. So, number 1, the biggest pre-order sales ever for an album in South Korea. Love Yourself Tear sold 1.44 million pre-order copies in its first 6 days of availability in South Korea last month. So you don't even hear about the biggest bands and artists in, like, America being able to do that. That is, and the funny thing is, BTS previously set the record with 2017's Love Yourself Her EP and became the only K-pop group to exceed 1 million pre-orders with multiple albums. So they're only getting bigger, and they've been big in Korea before they were huge in America. So it's kind of like, you got to think of it, they're just reaching their peak both in their home country as well as the world. First K-pop album to hit #1 on the Billboard 200. So we talked about this in the review, and that's in the title even. This was the first K-pop album to hit #1 on the Billboard 200 in the USA. It's also the genre's second top 10 ever, once again, following BTS's Love Yourself Her, which debuted and peaked at #7. The K-pop septet outsold Post Malone's Beer Bongs and Bentleys and ended the rapper's three-week run atop the chart. And the big thing about this is they're not only setting records, the back half of their record is their own record. So they're outdoing their own records with new records. They're becoming the first and second slot and more. So, number 3, biggest sales week in total units for K-pop group. BTS's latest album moved 135,000 album equivalent units in its first week, 100,000 of which were traditional album sales. The collection made a sizable streaming dent, 39.1 million streams overall, but its huge proportion of traditional sales makes Love Yourself Tear something of an outlier among recent blockbuster albums. So that's pretty awesome. Number 4, first K-pop single to debut in the top 10 of the Billboard Top 100. Fake Love debuted at number 10 on the Hot 100 this week, surpassing their former chart best, the Steve Aoki remix of Mic Drop, which peaked at number 28 in December. Psy previously reached the uppermost region of the chart with Gangnam Style and Gentleman, though they did not debut there. That's awesome. Number 5, and this is a pretty big one, highest 24-hour YouTube debut of 2018. Fake Love earned 35.9 million YouTube views in its first 34 hours, the highest debut of 2018 and third highest of all time, behind Taylor Swift's Look What You Made Me Do, 43.2 million views, and Psy's Gentleman, 36 million views. So they're not only making records with that, they're almost outdoing some of the biggest artists of this day. I mean, of this time. Taylor Swift is gigantic, and they almost outdid her. 6, highest 24-hour YouTube debut for a K-pop group. BTS crushed their own record yet again. They formally claimed the honor with DNA, which earned 22.3 million views in its first 24 hours. That's, once again, I just have to reiterate what I'm saying. They're outdoing themselves. Fastest K-pop video to 100 million YouTube views. Fake Love crossed the threshold at approximately 1:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on May 26, roughly 8 days, 8 hours, 45 minutes after its release. BTS's former record holder, DNA, took more than 24 days to reach the same milestone, meaning that just between DNA and their newest big single, Fake Love, they are climbing so high, and they're releasing albums so, like, often that it's awesome. First K-pop album to top Billboard Top 100 artist. First foreign language #1 since 2006. Classical crossover vocal quartet Tu Devo, I Devo, Lee Devo. Last claimed the top spot with their 2006 sophomore album, Ancora. And then finally, first world music album to top the Billboard 200. K-pop is also classified as world music with regard to the charts, and thus Love Yourself Tear charted and peaked on the World Albums chart. It became BTS's sixth #1 on the chart and the first world music album to ever reach the top of the overall Billboard 200. Alright, so the other article that I want to talk about is this, which is BTS Love Yourself Tear continues to chart high on Billboard 200 for second week. So, after setting a new record last week by becoming the first ever K-pop artist to reach #1 on Billboard's famous Top 200 Albums chart, BTS continued to perform well on the chart for the second consecutive week. According to Billboard, Love Yourself Tear has managed to remain on the chart at number 6 for the week of June 3rd to June 9th. So, overall, with all the stuff with BTS, I think that this is a craze. I've compared it before in my own mind. I don't know if I've done this in one of the videos, but they remind me a lot of the Beatles, how it's a foreign group that's coming over here and causing an absolute craze. If you've seen any of the live performances or the interviews, it's obvious that this is a huge band, this is a huge deal. And I'm excited to see not only where BTS goes and if they can continuously outdo their own records with each consecutive album, but also if this is going to open the door for more crossover bands from not only South Korea, such as K-pop bands, but also other countries to come in and make great music. But see, a lot of people are saying, is K-pop going to become a household huge thing now that BTS is becoming so gigantic in the United States? And my answer to that is I don't think so, because BTS is so unique. There has been K-pop bands for a long time, good K-pop bands, and I just don't think that this genre is going to flourish just because of BTS, because I feel like BTS is unique enough to where they're supplying this genre with its own kind of staple name and bringing that over as a crossover breed of music. And I don't think that K-pop as a definitive genre is going to become the big genre that a lot of people think it is, just for the fact that one band is able to push such boundaries that they're able to cross over and become so gigantic and such a household name in the United States. I think that this is particularly BTS, and I'm not saying that there aren't going to be other K-pop bands in the future that maybe chart high on the charts, but I don't think that other K-pop bands are going to come in and magically debut at #1 on the Billboard 200, because it's hard to believe that a band in general would do that. But I think BTS, out of all of them, is 100% worthy, and the only band that is worthy. And this is coming from someone that listens to a lot of K-pop music. I just feel like BTS is so unique and so hot right now that I wouldn't be surprised if their next album debuts at #1, but that might be stretching it. We'll see how it goes, though. But anyways, guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this subject. This has been J Mercer Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.